through God to the pulling down of strongholds. So in the Lord's army, you cannot say you are too old, you are too big, or you have done too much. Everybody at this stage of his life has to engage in battle, and in that battle, he is a warrior and God is his warrior. Praise the Lord. Greetings. We are still continuing our series on the book of Exodus. Today we're going to handle a very important topic. We're going to handle battles in life. Battles in life. We're going to see how we handle the battles that face us in life. The Akans of Ghana in West Africa have a saying that Obra ye okun. That is, life is war. So for them, every beat and phase of our life is a battlefield that we go and face. So our world also can be perceived in that way as our battlefield, where we continually battle with spiritual, physical, psychological, mental issues that confront us periodically. We battle with our health, we battle with our hearts, we battle and struggle in various aspects of our life. Today we want to focus on Exodus chapter 7 verses 6 to 13 to see how two people went into battle and how they fared as they battled and in their life and the things that came out of that battle. Exodus chapter 7 verses 6 to 13, and I read, Moses and Aaron did just as the Lord commanded them. Moses was 80 years old and Aaron 83 when they spoke to Pharaoh. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, when Pharaoh says to you, perform a miracle, then say to Aaron, take your staff and throw it down before Pharaoh, and it will become a snake. So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and did just as the Lord commanded. Aaron threw his staff down in front of Pharaoh and his officials, and it became a snake. Pharaoh then summoned wise men and sorcerers, and the Egyptian magicians also did the same thing by their secret arts. Each one threw down his staff, and it became a snake. But Aaron's staff swallowed up their staffs. Yet Pharaoh's heart became hard, and he would not listen to them, just as the Lord has said. We want to look at four main dynamics of battle in life. Four main dynamics of battle in life. The first is the warriors that are at battle. The second is the weapons that are used. The third is the warfare itself, the warfare engagement. And the last is winning. Warriors, weapons, warfare, and winning. The first is warriors. Warriors respond to the command of their warlord. In Exodus chapter 7 and verse 6, Moses and Aaron did just as the Lord commanded them. Moses was 80 years old and Aaron 83 years when they spoke to Aaron. So the warriors in this text are Moses and Aaron. Their warlord is God. Moses and Aaron are in God's regiment, and they, as his warriors, were taking direct commands from God, and they were responding positively to the command of their warlord. Interestingly, both warriors were in their 80s. So in the Lord's army, you cannot say you are too old, you are too big, or you have done too much. Everybody at this stage of his life has to engage in battle, and in that battle, he is a warrior and God is is warlord. Who is your warlord? Whose command are you under? There are only two warlords in the battle of life, God or Satan. So you are either taking commands from God in your battles in your life or from Satan. Weapons. 2. Warriors need effective weapons. Exodus chapter 7 verses 8 and 9 says, "The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, when Pharaoh says to you, perform a miracle, then say to Aaron, take your staff and throw it down before Pharaoh, and it will become a snake." The weapon that Moses and Aaron were going to use in this battle, interestingly, is a shepherd's staff, a stick. 2 Corinthians 10:5 emphasizes this. It says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds." The weapons that Aaron and Moses are going to use are not carnal. They are spiritual weapons. They are strong divine weapons. And they are so powerful that they can pull down strongholds. The weapon for this battle is the same staff that Moses used to tend the sheep. It is what you have in your hand that God is going to make use of in your battle of life. What do you have in your hand? It is not the mighty armies, the strong horses and the chariots, but the very simple weapons that God has placed in our hands. Identify your staff and make use of it. The battle is just a worldly combat, and it is we see battles as worldly combat, but there are spiritual dimensions to the battles that we face. So we should not take things at their face value. All the attacks we have, all the difficulties and the challenges we have, they are all battles that Satan is using to tempt us, to try us, to defeat us, to make us unhappy, to make us sad, to make us down, to make us give up. Your staff of fear and faith will become your weapon for fighting, and miraculous deliverance will come through that simple weapon that God has given to you. What do you have in your hand? What I have in my hand is different from what you have in your hand. But whatever you have is what God is going to use. God is using a staff in the case of Moses and Aaron. What about you? Your staff or resource for service will become your weapon of combat. It is rather the limitations of your weapons that causes God to use it to fight a miraculous battle from sin, addiction, enslavement. And God is ready to do it for you. May you make your weapons available to God. And when God says throw it down, you throw it down, it will turn into a snake that will swallow all your difficulties. 3. Warfare. Warfare entails offensive, intentional action. Exodus chapter 7 verse 10 says, Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and did just as the Lord commanded. Aaron threw his staff down in front of Pharaoh and his officials, and it became a snake. Pharaoh then summoned wise men and sorcerers, and the Egyptian magicians also did the same things, but their secret acts. Each one threw down his staff, and it became a snake, but Aaron's staff swallowed up their staffs. This is magic versus the miracle of God. Command for sorcery and magic. And a command of sorcery and magic is to show Pharaoh's power to be able to enslave people. And it happens. These magic, sorcery that people do can be so fantastic that you will feel so excited about it, and you still go to them. But they are weapons of enslavery. They are weapons of torture. They are weapons that will keep you in their fold, and sometimes slowly, through the magical arts, they will destroy you. As 2 Corinthians 10:4-5 says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. They are not the carnality that comes from magicians and the manipulations of things. You can see a lot of snakes all over the place, but there's only one snake, which is the snake of God, that swallowed all the snakes that were around. It is this which is said in verse 5, 2 Corinthians 10:5. It is casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity all the snakes of the magicians and the sorcerers were brought into captivity of God. May you know that instead of they holding you in captivity, God, through Jesus Christ and his blood, is making you free, so that you are delivered from them being their captive, delivering you from their captivity. And through that, you will rather hold them captive. Winning, that is fourth. Winning is a process that requires persistence and perseverance. Exodus chapter 7 verse 13 says, yes, Pharaoh's heart became hard, and he would not listen to them, just as the Lord has said. Pharaoh was not defeated yet. After the snake had swallowed this thing, Pharaoh was not defeated. Satan never gives up with the first blow. Addiction does not go away with the first attempt. There are some sins, habits, relationships that are not severed easily. Some can take a long time. You need to persevere. You need to consistently, persistently persevere, because winning is your goal, and failures may come your way, but the failures are not the end. Failures sometimes are the way to winning. In conclusion, with the right awareness and alertness to your command, who is God himself, and the right anticipation with the right weapons that God has given you, so that you are able to defeat your demons, you are able to defeat the attacks of the enemy, and the intentional actions, continue and don't give up. Victory shall be yours. God bless you.
Hope you are blessed with this message. To get in touch with other messages of the servants of God, follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel.